I love consumerism.
And if-
Peeps yes or peeps no?
If you walk around the cemeteries,
Folks.
you could be cremated
And put in a tree. Those are the holidays. No, we're just about to.
Do you want some more?
No.
You know, okay.
Yeah, I'm not a white cheddar kind of guy. Okay.
White cheddar.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Faith and Folklore podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Tobias Okerlund, and this is my aunt, Auntie Katie.
Hello.
Today we are going to dive into some Easter history and origins, and we're just gonna kind of hop around and go through.
No pun intended.
oh my gosh, bro, we're too good. We're just gonna kind of hop around and see where this takes us. So yeah.
Maybe down a rabbit hole. This is too good.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Wow.
We're gonna go down the rabbit hole of Easter. Bro.
We crack ourselves up at least.
A little bit too much. Oh my god.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, well, yes. As Toby said, we are going to talk about Easter and its origins, its history. We're going to hopefully
it's going to be eggs.
Learn some things. Excellent.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. We need help.
Okay.
We're going to learn some things.
Yeah.
I've already learned some things just by
honestly have.
Kind of diving in. Again, I feel like this is always how it goes. You celebrate Easter your whole life. You have this idea of what you think it is. And then you get a little older and then you start questioning things. And then other people are questioning things. And then you're like, oh my gosh, is Easter pagan?
Yeah.
Is the Easter bunny evil? Why do we do any of the stuff that we do? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it neither good nor bad? And so I feel like it's always so much bigger than we realize it is. But Easter, I feel like, is one of those ones that gets a lot of, especially in the recent years, like people claiming that it has total pagan roots or that it's from even older, like it's from the goddess Ishtar, and, just kind of putting out all this information. And then that just gets re-put out until people are like, yep, Easter is pagan and the Easter eggs are pagan and it's all or it's even older than that. It's all from the goddess Ishtar and there's all this stuff. And you're just like, okay, this must be it. But no one's actually looking back at where is this information coming from? Is it coming from facts? Is it coming from documented?
Or is it just the grapevine from over time, just something repeated becomes fact? Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, very true. So guys, we're gonna go through all of this, just kind of explore it, and you guys are gonna come along and hopefully enjoy a little bit of our insanity for a little while. Yes, so we're gonna go back starting in, I don't know what year, but Passover, Exodus of the Bible, of the Bible. Because that's kind of where, the Passover is, what is it? What am I trying to say? It's the
origins.
Origins of some of Easter and some traditions. So, Katie, you can take it over.
I think that you can't separate Easter from Passover, even though we have done that. Even though it's been done. Easter has its origins in Passover. So the Jewish people for thousands of years celebrated the exodus of the Israelites from Egypt, God's deliverance from slavery, and they had an exodus out of Egypt, and they have celebrated that. And Jesus was Jewish. And the
Contrary to popular belief,
yes,
he was
contrary,
not white, guys.
he was not white. Not Christian, he was Jewish. And the guys around him, his disciples, were also Jewish. They weren't Gentiles, they were Jewish people celebrating Jewish customs
Yeah,
and the traditions of the Passover meal. And so on the night of Passover, they were together in the upper room, they broke bread together. But it was during that Passover that Jesus altered the tradition slightly of just celebrating the exodus of the Israelites and the Jewish people from Egypt. And he talked about breaking the bread, representing it as his body, drinking the wine, representative of his blood that he would shed for our sins. So he kind of started to spin Easter. And then, of course, you can't talk about Jesus and his sacrifice without connecting it to the lamb in your mind. He's called the Lamb of God. And so, again, the Passover, one of the main things of it was that the Israelite people painted that red blood of the lamb over their doorposts, and then the
yeah,
angel of death passed their door, didn't kill their firstborn son, but it killed the
yeah,
Egyptians' firstborn. And so connecting that um, that sacrificial lamb saving people to Jesus, who is the lamb, and then he would be slain and save people. So it all kind of intersects and connects so much, I think, with Passover. And
yeah.
it's kind of a you and I have celebrated Passover for years.
Yes,
That's our family does that, even though we are um, Christian. We
yeah,
also have incorporated our Jewish ancestry, but then also just, I think, realizing the importance of Passover. And it's kind of a
yeah,
shame that it's not incorporated into
yeah,
Christian tradition, I guess you could say. We just
yeah.
blow over it. We go from Christmas to Easter,
It is
or I
kind of
guess maybe
yeah,
Good Friday. But like,
yeah,
I don't know any Christians besides our family
yeah,
who celebrate Passover. And it's like, why don't we do that?
yeah.
I don't know.
It is
But
an interesting thought, just because it's like, I mean, like you said, Jesus was Jewish, but Jesus is also like our plumb line for everything, you know. So it's like
Mhm.
he celebrated it and used it. Like, why don't we? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's cool.
it is cool. I'm glad we do.
Yeah.
It's like,
If you never have, try it out.
try it out. It's tomorrow. I mean,
Yes.
obviously, if you're watching this, I don't know
Yeah.
when you're watching this, but
Yeah.
this year it is April 11th, Saturday,
Yeah.
April 11th. So we'll be celebrating that. But yeah, so Easter, Passover connection. They were celebrating Passover, and then it was that night in the garden that he was arrested and then was taken and tried and found guilty, and the rest is history.
The
No, the
rest.
rest is Easter, I guess.
The rest is
uh,
Easter,
the
folks.
rest is Easter. So yeah, he was died. As a Christian, we believe he was crucified on the cross in
Gethsemane.
Gethsemane,
Wait,
and then
the Garden of Gethsemane is where he was. Oh, Golgotha,
Golgotha.
which means the place of the skull.
Ah, there we
There we
go.
go.
Crucified on Golgotha. And
Oh,
then he
yes,
was placed in the tomb and rose 3 days later,
that's right.
hence Easter. Now, I think something that is interesting is that they didn't immediately, like the next year, start celebrating Easter. Like, oh, we have this holiday. But they did continue to celebrate Passover, as they
Oh, that's a good
still do
point.
to this day.
But there
So,
was a different. That's a good point because I never thought about
Mhm.
that. Like, because I mean, like Jesus was like, "This is how you'll celebrate it now." Like,
Mhm.
we're gonna do Passover, and then you're also gonna do communion on
Mhm.
Pass. Dang, I didn't even think about
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then it was the 8th century, I believe, that we incorporated Easter as a holiday. And then pretty much since then, the date has been fought about so much so that like there was a time, I don't know what the date is, but that the church in Turkey, which would have been Asia Minor, was like almost ostracized from the being, I don't know, from the group of churches that were Christian because they wanted to celebrate it on a certain day and everyone else wanted to celebrate it on a different day. And so there's been a lot of conflict in the date placement of Easter for hundreds, if I mean, definitely hundreds of years. I don't know about thousands, but we're probably creeping up on 1,000 for sure
Getting
of
close,
years.
guys.
Yeah. So it's been heavily argued about, which I think is important to note because of one of the arguments about it being a Christian holiday that, I don't know if stole is the right word, but kind of like stole or took over a pagan holiday. Is um, it is said that that's why it's on the date that it is because it was placed over a traditional pagan holiday, which, as we know,
Yeah.
does happen.
Mm.
Christmas, um, All Hallows Eve or Halloween,
Yeah.
those were both specifically placed over Yule and over Samhain. So it's like, it's not that that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And so we're not saying it doesn't ever happen, but Easter
In this
specifically,
case.
in this case, was
Yeah.
really not trying to like hide or cover a holiday that may or may not even actually have been being celebrated traditionally by more of the pagan religion,
Yeah.
especially because if it was a holiday that was celebrated, it would have been more closer connected to the spring equinox, which is in
Yeah.
March. And Easter, as we know, bounces all over the place. It can be in March, it can be in April. It isn't placed around the spring equinox, it's placed in the calendar for different reasons, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, so I think that's kind of like the first maybe like argument that we could dispel is that Easter for sure was not trying
Stolen.
to like cover over a traditional pagan
Yeah.
holiday as some of the
Yeah.
other holidays have been.
Yeah. That's so true. Yeah, and especially because it almost like I think with all of the like because what's one of the arguments that it's a I mean like you said the spring equinox and stuff like that like it was just more of a day and then these traditions like were just things that people did not necessarily a
Mhm.
like something like you said something to cover it up. I don't know, just
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah, it is because you kind of start to think like, well, gosh, it's probably just another one of those holidays that we just stuck over the top of some other holiday and tried to
Yeah,
hide it or cover it up or
but it's like
Christianize
its
it, I
own
guess.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
its own thing.
yeah,
Started thousands of years ago, like we said, with the Passover and then Easter and then so on and so forth. And we
yeah.
could go down a lot of rabbit holes with like calendar placement, which is super interesting. There's, a lot of, you could call them conspiracy theories or just other opinions
Alternate
out there.
histories.
Yes. Of the calendar, the Gregorian versus the Julian, the solstice or the lunar calendar versus the sun calendar. If you're depending if you were Jewish or Roman, and dates and variables
Yeah,
and all sorts of things that eventually probably will go down because it is interesting. But yeah,
yeah.
the date of Easter has been decided. I can't remember what year, but it was decided that it would fall the Sunday after Passover. So Passover can fall on kind of any day of the week. It has to do with the lunar calendar. So it's like
Yeah.
the full moon, it falls on a certain amount of days or something after the full moon. And then Easter just falls on
Interesting.
the next Sunday after that. So that's why it
Okay.
moves around all
And
over the place.
is that because you said it's based off of the lunar calendar, and is that
Mhm.
the one that it was Jewish?
Yeah.
Not Jewish, but the
Yes.
Jewish calendar, I guess.
Yep. And
That's
then the
cool. That's
Romans
interesting.
used the solar calendar. And I think probably because their god was one of their main gods was like the sun god. So I think it had
That's
something
true.
to do more with that.
Saturn.
So, yeah.
Wait, what was sun god's name?
Um,
Which one was the sun god? Was
was it
it
Zeus?
was it Saturn? No, Saturn's Saturn. What am I
Would it
saying?
be Zeus? I don't know. Is that Greek? I don't know.
I
We
don't know.
obviously we're not experts here, people.
Guys,
So
we're not
don't
experts. Yeah,
don't hate on us. All
do
right.
not quote us
Yes,
unless we're
we're
right. You
learning
quote
along
us.
with you, and
Yeah.
uh,
We're on this journey,
we're on
man.
this journey together, guys.
We're on the same boat, and the boat is sinking. No.
Quickly.
Sorry, guys. um, yes. um, yes. Kind of. Let's kind of piggybacking off of that. Let's look at this thing. I don't remember how to pronounce his name, but you were saying
Mm.
it. Wait, wrong one, guys.
Not that guy.
Here's a little scary picture for you. This one,
Oh
guys.
yes!
Here
Oh
we
my
go.
gosh! Yes, thank you. Good
Uh,
point, Toby. This guy, Beatty, Bede.
Beatty.
Beatty. Yes. So,
Beatty.
um, yeah, this is a good point to bring up because it kind of goes back to the whole Easter being pagan versus not. And this guy, Beatty, in 725 AD, he was I don't know if like monk is the right word, but he wrote a lot of things. And one of the things he wrote was called, I'm not going to pronounce this correctly, but the De Temporum Radion,
Sounds right
something
to me.
in Latin, I'm guessing. He refers to Ostara or Eostra. There's a lot of different ways I think that it can be pronounced. He refers to it as Eostra, as you can see in the text here on the screen. And this is so he, as we've kind of talked about, the Celtic and the pagan religions, they didn't have a written language. And so what we know of them is mostly documented by monks or priests or different people at that time who did know how to write and read
Yes.
and had a written language. And so they incorporated just things that they were learning. And this is the only written mention. So again, that doesn't mean that just because it wasn't written doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yeah.
It's just we don't have any more information about Ostara
Yeah.
or Eostra, except for this one tiny little text where he says Eostra month has a name which is now translated Paschal month, and which was once called after a goddess of theirs named Eostra, in whose honor feasts were celebrated in that month. So he's saying that Eostra month, which I think would have been April or maybe March, is now he's saying he's like declaring, okay, we're not going to call it Eostra month anymore. We're going to call it Paschal month, which refers to the Passock or however you say that, which refers to Passover. And so he's saying we're
Mm.
not calling it Eostra month anymore after that goddess who there's certain celebrations for, but there's literally no other documented information of what those celebrations would have been or those feasts or who that goddess is. Um, but we're not calling it that anymore. We're going to call it Paschal month
Paschal
because
month, guys.
that's what we're calling it now. So then it says, now they designate that Paschal season by her name, calling the joys of the new rite by the time-honored name of the old observance. So yeah, that is it. And so I think because we are English, and a lot of times we just like, I don't know, English people like to do that thing where we just forget that there's like other languages out there. And so we're like, oh, Eostra month, that sounds like Easter. So that must mean that somehow Easter and Eostra or Ostara are like connected, and we took that name and we twisted it and we turned it into Easter. But what we have to remember is that the word Easter is um, Old Germanic, I guess, which doesn't necessarily mean Germany. It just means Northern
Germanic language.
Hemisphere.
Yeah.
Um, that's where the word Easter is derived from. But in other countries around the world, they don't call it Easter. It's not Easter everywhere.
Yeah.
In France, it's still something I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce, but it starts with a P, and so it still goes more back to that original
Language.
Pesach,
Mm.
referring more to the Passover. So I don't even think that you can make I don't know. I'm sure there's an argument, but like, I don't think that there's a huge argument for saying that we took Easter from Eostra.
Yeah. It does sound similar.
It does sound similar.
So do a lot of things, guys.
It's kind of like spaghetti and biscotti.
Or biblioteca and Bible.
Flashback.
Biblioteca. That means library, but
Yeah, but I always think it means Bible.
I say it as Bible.
Yeah.
I think it's so funny too. Okay.
End of flashback.
Yes.
Very, very different things.
Very different things. They're both books.
Both books. Both book related.
Book related, and they have similar names. But that's actually a really good thing. A good weird as comparison, but it actually makes sense. It's like we are like, oh, Bible, biblioteca, that must be the same thing.
Completely
Ostara,
different.
Easter, that must be the same thing. It's like, no, just because they sound the same, and they're both kind of holidays or feasts, that doesn't actually mean that they have like a connection between the two of them. But yeah, so that guy Beatty, he's kind of loved and hated because a lot of his stuff he's like a 50-50 chance of what he wrote is true.
Hit or miss.
Hit or miss. Yeah. So it's not always right. It's not always wrong. So there's even arguments of like, he's the only one that mentions that goddess, that like holiday, that month. Is he like, where is he getting this information? We have no references of where he got that information from. It's just no references, plopped that in there, and nothing really after that. So it's kind of like, did it happen?
No idea.
I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it did. There was pagan celebrations for seasonal change and such. So I'm sure they were doing something. But yeah.
Could have just been some dude writing stuff down, writing some like, little fantasy tales.
Kind of sounds good. And one more little random tangent that I'll go off on for like 2 seconds is that there was the god or the goddess, and then their description, and they could be described as something. So like an example would be the Yule. So like the god about Christmas, can't even remember who it is right now, but he was described as Yule. And so we have like our Yule traditions and such. So it was almost like a descriptive word, or kind of like who he represented at that time. So Ostara might not actually have even been the goddess herself. It could have been the goddess Freya, who represented more of like springtime and such. And it was like her kind of who she embodied, I guess. I don't know if this is making sense at all, but like Ostara might not even have actually been the physical goddess herself, but more of the representation of her, who she kind of became, or like a descriptive word for her persona in the
Okay.
springtime. And I
Okay.
wish I could think of like a better example of something that could like make sense for us, like in this day and age. But like, okay, maybe this is a horrible way of describing it.
Let's go
But
for it.
like, let's go horrible, and then we can only go up from there. Maybe it's kind of like when you say American. Wait, let me think about this for a second.
Okay. Like Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe. Maybe. He's not really like a real person.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah.
Bro.
Bro,
I've been thinking Uncle Sam's been real this whole time.
yeah, wait, what do they call it when you like tell something and you like ruin it for someone, like a movie, and you're ruining the
Spoiler
ending?
alert.
Spoiler alert, yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler
Uncle
alert.
Sam is not real.
Uncle Sam is not real. Also, if you have kids, we meant to say this in the beginning, we will be talking about the Easter Bunny, and so if you don't want any spoiler alerts,
Spoiler alert.
towards the end of this, you might want to just skip. But anyways, Uncle Sam isn't really a real person, but he's like a representative of a bigger picture.
Yeah.
Of like 4th of July in essence.
Yeah.
And
America
so
in and of itself, I guess.
Yeah. So maybe Ostara was a
Embodiment
representative,
of
like an
season.
embodiment of this seasonal goddess Freya.
Okay.
I don't know if that's helpful for anybody out there, but it's a theory, I guess
Theories,
you could say,
guys.
amongst folklore theologians.
That's us. We're folklore theologians, baby. Bro,
Yeah.
that is what we are. That is such a cool title.
I'm a folklore
Is it real?
theologian.
No, but it's a title.
But we're going
and
for
it's
it.
ours now.
It's ours. Couple of amateur folklore theologians over here.
Kind of going back to what you were, well, not going back, but I just kind of wanted to, you said who the gods of like Christmas were, and I just wanted to, it was Saturn and Odin and Mithra.
Thank you. So
and I think Mithra was a female.
Nope,
yeah,
so it's like Yule is like I think of Odin. It's like a version of him.
Yeah.
It's like when he's dressed up for Christmas, it's Yule.
Yeah. Yule was a Norse winter solstice festival where the god Odin was believed to ride through the sky on his 8-legged horse, delivering gifts. So like
Octopus horse.
Octopus
so then
horse, baby.
Ostara could kind of be that same thing. It's like Freya maybe was the original goddess, and then it's kind of being depicted in this way through Ostara, which is celebrated on the spring equinox, which sometimes falls around Easter itself, and it's springtime. So of course it's going to have elements of Easter, which is flowers and new life and rabbits and things are born at that time. Lambs, there's rabbits,
scary.
Eggs and whatever, all that kind of stuff.
Eggs. Yeah. Just kind of a representation of something more.
Yeah.
Cool. I guess while we're here, we can talk about eggs and kind of what that is and where it came from, and what I was told was eggs were something to do with showing like Christ being put into the tomb and then coming out of the tomb, and somehow the egg was something like the sweet treat in the egg was Jesus, I guess. I don't know.
oh, not like a real egg, like a fake egg.
Yeah. Yeah,
the
yeah.
fake eggs that we would hide.
That we do nowadays.
Yeah. Okay. I get
But
what you're
the
saying.
origins of it was, I'm going to try and say
It was
this
like
with words.
Christian origins,
Yes,
representative of Christ going into the tomb, and then the egg is the tomb and Christ is the candy.
exactly. Now, this could be very, very not true, guys, but that's just what somebody once
But
told me. I
that's
could be mixing something up actually, because now I'm remembering that they would take 3 eggs and they would put the crown, they would put the like the purple cape that he was wrapped in, and um maybe it was a nail or something, and we would
Mm.
open each one or something, and we
Oh
would
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about it. So
Oh
they'd
my
be like,
gosh,
he was
yes.
he was hung on the cross and they gave him the crown, they mocked him with the purple robe, and then they uh nailed him to the cross or something like that,
Yes.
and then it was
Uh,
representing that somehow. But that could also just be something that I made up in my
no,
head.
that is yes. I don't ever remember doing it as a kid, but they're the resurrection eggs. Maybe that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, I
And
think
there's 12
so.
of them.
Oh, geez. I only remember 3,
Okay, but that's
but
okay. But yeah, I hadn't ever like
done that.
did that, but this last year we did that at church.
Mm,
And so I had it, I ordered it, I had it at home, and Freya and Amara found it. They were like, "What is this?" So we went through those 12 eggs probably 1,000 times. It was like their favorite thing to do, which is fine,
that's so
fine by
yeah,
me. And we would shut them, we'd put the little things. They look like almost like Monopoly size, like
like
when you're
things.
playing the game of Monopoly, like
Mm,
those little
tiny
pieces,
little
tiny things.
crown.
They reminded me of that. And you put them in the eggs and then you go through the eggs. So it's like what you're saying. There's the whip that they whipped
Yes,
Jesus with.
that's what it
There's the
was.
rooster that crows. There's the nails. There's
Oh,
the
maybe I did go through all 12. I'm
yeah,
remembering all of this
I'm sure
now.
you did. I'm sure your
It's
mom went through all 12 of, or at church or wherever it was,
yeah.
you did this. But yeah, they're the resurrection eggs.
Resurrection eggs,
I don't
folks.
know when that started, when that tradition started, but yeah, there's 12 of them.
It feels like a homeschool thing. It feels
Yeah.
like some homeschooler was
I know.
like,
I was like, I don't know what this is. They were like, you don't know what
12.
resurrection eggs are? I was like, no, I have
No, I
no idea.
don't, because I'm
But
not
I'll order
late.
them. And
And we're gonna
yeah,
do it.
we did
Yeah.
it. Every morning they would be like, can we do the eggs? I was like, okay, yes, let's go
Yes,
through the
it's
eggs.
5 a.m.
And yeah, so we did that a lot. But yes, those. So yeah, I think that I think there could be a connection, a slight
Yeah, there's
connection there.
probably it's probably something like it's probably something kind of just like, I mean, because what the origins of the actual egg thing were, correct me if I'm getting it wrong, it was having to do with Lent, and they wouldn't eat eggs
Mhm.
during Lent for the 40 days. But and so they wouldn't throw the eggs away, though they would save the eggs, and then to like put them apart from other eggs they would paint the eggs, which is where egg painting comes from.
Mhm.
But then they would hide them sometimes, I guess, like
Mhm.
to make it special for the kids. So maybe somehow that looped around to them being like, let's put some Jesus stuff in eggs and tell the kids about that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah, that I think there definitely could be a connection there with that.
There's
Um,
definitely
there's definitely a
something.
connection there.
Guys, we are folklore
Folklore
theologians, baby.
theologians. So obviously this is
Anything
it.
we say is fact.
Um,
Yeah.
no, I think that is a really interesting point that like chickens, so eggs, obviously eggs are a thing all year round, but the egg is a part of the Passover Seder plate. So eggs were kind of always what I mean, I guess I don't know when that exactly started, when eggs became part of the Seder plate. But
Yeah.
if you celebrate Passover, you have multiple things that you eat through the Passover meal. There's bitter herbs, there's the boiled egg, there's the unleavened bread, the lamb, etc.
I
So
love
that
lamb.
egg has been part of the Passover tradition. But then at some point when, again, we kind of separated Jewish tradition from Christian Catholic tradition during, like what Toby said, during Lent, they would give up eggs, eating eggs. I don't really know exactly why that was a thing, but they did. They gave them up for all those days, but
I
the
could
chickens
never.
don't stop laying eggs. So they had a lot of eggs accumulating, and they're like, what do we do with these eggs? We're not going to waste them. And so,
We don't
yeah,
waste
they
eggs.
started painting them.
Oh, that's what it was. They hard boiled them though, right? Because
Yes,
that
to
made
make
them
them
last
last
longer
longer.
or something like that.
Yes. Yep. And I think I read
Wait,
somewhere
so
that,
they
like,
literally just stole it from freaking the Passover.
yeah,
That's
they were like,
crazy.
wait, we have all these
Literally, they
eggs.
were just like, we're gonna do
They were
that, but
like,
we're gonna paint the eggs, and we're not
we're
gonna eat them. I'm like,
And
what?
I read somewhere that the original paint color was red as representative of Christ's blood, which would also, obviously, Christ's blood is Easter, but also Passover because of the Passover lamb blood. But then
Yeah.
they just started to be like, well, this is fun. Let's paint them all sorts of colors. And there's some countries that do like the most intricate, amazing
Yeah,
Easter egg
that's
painting. That's props
folks.
to you, because I can
Send
barely
us
dye
pictures
eggs,
of
but
your Easter
I love
egg.
it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dyeing eggs. Like I try and do the like I would try and do
Mhm.
like the dip once,
Cool.
dip twice,
Yeah.
and then I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, how do I? Because I was like, oh, let's do 3 colors. You dip once, dip twice, and you're like, how do I get the third
The
color
third
in
one.
there? And then you just
Yeah.
made like a doo doo egg, and it's like,
Yes. Actually, oh man, Toby. Guys, you need to follow our Instagram because I have a photo of Toby in his young age. We were dyeing Easter eggs.
Oh
Speaking
man.
of dyeing Easter eggs, and he, he's like 2 or 3 in this photo, and he's just taking his egg and dipping it into the dye like kids do, and like the doo-doo egg that's blue, it's
Literally
brown, it's green, it's every color. But
every
your
color.
hand, you dyed your hand. And I'm not going to tell them what happens next because you're just going to have to go to our Instagram and
You just
look
go
for the
check it out,
photo
folks.
because it's hilarious. It's Toby. It's Easter, and
It's perfect, folks.
it's perfect.
You're
So
gonna love it.
we're gonna love it. But anyways, yes. So they dyed eggs, which again just kind of points to the fact of, like, these are very Christian origins.
Mm-hmm.
Easter eggs, Easter egg dyeing, Easter egg hiding, even like you said, I think they would bless the egg, they would dye them so you're not eating old eggs that you're going to get sick from, or they're hard boiled because they last longer and then they don't break, they're not as easy to break, so you can hide them
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah.
And then they would start hiding them around the garden for the kids to find the blessed special eggs. And then from everything that I looked up, and it seems like from what most people agree with, the actual origin of the Easter bunny itself is like, there is no found origin of that creepy dude right there.
Creepy dude.
So is it just that there's a lot of bunnies, it's springtime, and the bunnies are out in the yard, and so it's an easy thing to say like, oh, well, the bunnies hid your Easter eggs. Except there's 2 things I guess I want to say. I think it was in the late 1600s, 1680 or something like that. There was a French author, I want to say, who was writing about, like, or he could have been German because I know he was writing about something in German, and that was the first reference to the name Easter Bunny.
Okay.
However you would say Easter Bunny in German. Not
Easter
even gonna
bunny.
try to pronounce that. And I think they called it the Easter hare.
Ah,
Easter hare.
Easter hat.
So that
Rudolph
was like the
Easter hat.
first reference to Easter Bunny, Easter hare, and it was a German thing, and it was practically in 1700. It was in the 1700s, but it was like
Okay.
1688 or something like that.
And that was right after the computer was made, guys.
Pretty much
Pretty much
coincided
pretty
with
close
Google.
to that one. Google.
So that was the first written reference to Easter Bunny being part of the Easter celebration. So again, a relatively new thing. It wasn't written from old texts that we're finding talking about old folklore.
Yeah.
It's a relatively new thing, kind of like Santa Claus. Like I feel like Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny are always looped together. And I always was like, no, the Easter, I don't know. I had a different thought about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Santa's newer, obviously, than the Easter Bunny, but the Easter Bunny isn't that old. And his original thing was from Germany. But I think it could have just, like we said, been there's bunnies out in the garden. The parents are hiding the eggs out in the garden, and they're like, oh, this is fun. Let's just say the eggs hid them. They could have picked any other spring animal. It could have been like the blue jays hid the eggs or something, but for some reason they went with the bunny. And that leads me to, Toby, did you believe in the Easter Bunny when you were a kid?
I did not.
Me neither.
I never did.
Yeah.
It's funny the things that you would, though. Like, you're like, frick, eat a bunny that hops around in eggs? What are you talking about?
That's ridiculous. But the tooth fairy?
The tooth fairy, I swear that thing's real, okay?
Real. I think it also is just like what your family does. Like, my mom, so Toby's mom, didn't do the Easter Bunny. She always hid eggs. We always had an
my
Easter
mom,
basket.
and then you said Toby's mom.
Toby's mom. Okay, so
Toby's
grandma. My mom.
We're not.
Toby's mom's mom.
Yeah.
Toby's mom is my sister. So me and Toby's mom.
Yes.
We're raised.
We're raised by their mom, which is my grandmother. We got there, guys.
We got there.
Yes.
We weren't raised with the Easter Bunny. We were raised with Santa. We were raised with the Tooth Fairy. The Easter Bunny was never something that we incorporated. I should ask Grandma why that is.
It is funny.
I don't
Maybe
really
it's
know.
Just like it's like adds up. It's a lot of lies.
It's a lot of lies that we were told. The Easter Bunny wasn't one of them.
The Easter Bunny
so
was
then
not.
It makes sense that your mom then wouldn't all of a sudden decide like, oh, well, I want to have the Easter Bunny be real for my family. But like, I know plenty of people who like the Easter Bunny was as real as Santa Claus to them.
That's crazy to me. Like, I guess like I grew up with kids who didn't believe in Santa, and I was always like, how do you not believe in Santa Claus? And they were probably like, how do you, bro?
Right. Yeah.
Like, and that's probably the same as the Easter Bunny. It's like, I just thought, I mean, my parents told me like
they told
the
me,
bunny
and
the
So it's it's such funny. Like a weird thing. Because I always just thought, I pictured more like that picture. Like it's just some dude in an Easter suit, and it's pretty creepy looking, honestly. Like
creepy looking thing, bro.
Creepy looking. But yeah, so the origins of the Easter Bunny there are none.
They're blurry, folks.
Spoiler alert, they're blurry. They don't really
compute.
There's not really a thing. So yeah, that's Easter. That's Easter eggs. That's the Easter Bunny. We've covered a lot of ground here, people.
We have covered a lot of ground here, folks. Yeah, do we want to look at some other holidays that happen in what month is it? April?
It's April. Oh yeah, but before we do that, let's look at some stats.
Some statistics. Oh my gosh. Statistics.
So we always like to kind of talk about how we love consumerism here in this world nowadays.
I love consumerism.
And if it's a holiday, we're spending money, people. So let's see where Easter falls. Are we buying all the eggs in the world and stuffing them with all the candy?
Every egg.
Pretty much. So here are 12. I don't know if I'll read all 12, but potentially 12 Easter spending stats. 68% of Americans plan to celebrate Easter in 2025. It is the fourth highest among the 14 tracked holidays. So my guess is Christmas,
holidays are? Yeah, Christmas, Thanksgiving,
Halloween,
probably.
Thanksgiving, Easter. That's my guess on how that goes.
Wait, there's 14 tracked holidays? I can't even think. Okay, I guess Valentine's Day.
St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day?
4th of July. These are
that's so
American
true.
stats, I believe.
Okay,
So I
okay.
should preface with that. So yeah, 68% of people are going to celebrate. That's actually a lot less than
That's a
I
lot
would have
less than I would
guessed.
have thought. I guess it's one of those ones where like St. Patrick's Day you could just involve alcohol, but like if you're involving alcohol in
Right.
Easter, it's kind of like
Yeah,
there's
that's
not a,
true.
like you because anyone could celebrate St. Patrick's Day or anyone can celebrate Christmas, but if you don't have kids to like hide eggs or something, then
Yeah,
that
that's true.
severely lowers the number of people
That
who
is a good
could
point.
do
Yeah.
it, especially when it's not like if you're not religious and it's like
And you don't have
just for
kids.
the kids, yeah, it's
Yeah,
boom drops.
that's true. That is very true. I will say there was a few years that Corey and I would celebrate Easter with a friend group of ours, and there was this bar in San Diego that served sneaky. They called them sneaky tikis. Most of the time, it was a tiki bar, but
Oh,
they would call them sneaky peepees, and they would
oh.
have peeps. They were like this. I don't even know what concoction of alcohol was in them, but
So
there was a
ridiculous.
peep on
The side of the
the
glass,
side of
like
the
a
glass, and they called
lemon.
them sneaky peepees. So we would go to her house.
That's funny.
Shout out to Brittany. We would
Brittany.
Brittany. She would hide eggs for us, and it was
Oh
a
man,
whole group of adults finding eggs, running around like crazy people, and then we would go and get sneaky peepees,
that's
and
so fun.
they were pretty good. But anyways, let's see. What's another good one we got here? Easter spending is expected to reach over 22.5 billion.
22.5
People,
billion?
yes, in 2025. It was
Maybe it's not as little as I thought.
in 2024, it was 2.2 or 22.4. Wow. Get it in your head here. 22, pretty much $22 billion was spent
That's
on Easter
insane.
in
Wait, how much was
2025.
Christmas? And do we remember? Did we look that up?
Well, St. Patrick's
Yeah,
Day,
St.
the
Patrick's
last one we did, it was only only $7 billion.
I mean, that's
So
pretty
it's definitely
drastic.
up from St. Patrick's Day.
I guess St. Patrick's Day, I guess,
But again, it's like, what are you spending it on? Just alcohol
yeah.
mostly. Where Easter,
Ha.
it's like some people go all out with the Easter baskets.
Yeah, man, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that, but let's see. So Thanksgiving is kind of funny because there's like what you would spend on actual Thanksgiving, but then because like Cyber Monday and Black Friday get lumped into it now,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like billions and billions of dollars. But
Billions and
Christmas,
billions of dollars.
I'm gonna guess it's
Man.
like, I don't even know, quadruple that. That would be my guess. We'll get to the bottom of this
Will we? Will we?
in a few months when it's Christmas time. um, okay, let's see. Let's throw in one more stat into this. Here we go. Easter is the top holiday for milk chocolate sales, ahead of Valentine's and Halloween.
Milk chocolate,
Milk
specifically milk
chocolate
chocolate.
specifically.
It's probably
Yep.
because kids, bro. No
So,
kid wants dark chocolate.
yeah, that is
You gotta
true.
think
But
like,
I feel like when I think of Easter, I think of Peeps and I think of those little jelly beans, or not little, they're like the bigger jelly beans. I actually bought some because I was craving them. They're like the big jelly beans.
big jelly beans. I never had. Well, I did have jelly beans sometimes, but we would do the like those hollow chocolate Easter bunnies
Oh, duh. Okay,
and
I
the
guess that
like
makes
those
sense.
like chocolate they're like M&Ms but they're shaped as eggs.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
jelly beans cuz
Yeah.
jelly beans was kind of like a good egg one. You could just throw that in an egg and it was pretty
Yeah. It's
easy,
not going to
but
melt or make a mess.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. The biggest question is peeps. Are we team peep or not?
Yeah, guys. Comment down below.
Comment down below. Do
Is
you like
is
the peeps?
peeps yes or peeps no? Okay,
Yeah.
folks. And if it's like another random candy, like black licorice, you freaks, then comment that as well.
Yeah.
Because there's some, I mean, people do weird stuff, man.
Yeah. People either love peeps or not. I have seen people like roast peeps, like make like a peep
Like
s'more,
marshmallow.
like a
Okay.
roasted peep,
Like
which
marshmallow, like s'more. What am I
like
saying?
a s'more. Yeah,
Like
like a
s'more.
marshmallow. I feel like peeps, I could maybe eat one and then I'm like, or maybe like a bite, and then I'm just kind of like,
Yeah, that's
I
what it
don't
is.
know.
It's one bite and it's like, oh, okay. And then you like it's while you're gonna take you're like,
You're like,
that
nah.
stuff is ass, bro.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
bad.
good. I'm good on that. So we're not team peep,
Yeah.
but
And if you are, got some problems,
you do
man.
you.
But know that I am judging. Okay, while we're kind of on some Easter stuff, I wanted to look at some Easter movies. So I'm gonna
What should
go
we be watching?
into some Easter. Well, I guess so. What I'm seeing a lot of on this website is uh, spring themed movies, and which kind of correlates to that, but then also like some Easter movies. So, number one, I have no idea how this connects to Easter. It's Wonka, the new Wonka with Timothy Chalamet. Don't know why that's there.
Candy, I guess. We're
This
really
is
going out on a limb here, people.
Yeah, we're going real, and then there's I guess this kind of does. This is something called Young Messiah, which I've never heard of.
Hmm.
A fictional film based on the portrayal of Jesus. Okay, this one is fire. Winnie the Pooh, Springtime with Rue.
Oh,
That's fire.
yeah. That I could watch.
Oh
sure.
yeah. We got, dude. Some of these are random. We got Jonah, the Jonah Veggie Tales. That has nothing to do with
People,
Easter.
get your Bible stories
Get your Bible stories
correct.
right, folks.
Jonah is not part of the Easter story. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert: Jonah does not show up. There's this thing called "Here Comes Peter Cottontail."
Okay, for just bunnies in
Yeah,
general.
bunny thing. This looks like a okay. Yeah, this is a Hallmark movie. Easter Bloom.
Ooh.
You know me in Hallmark movies,
Yeah.
folks. We got Wallace and Gromit. It's the what is it called? The Curse of the Were Rabbit. I've never seen that. Some of these, man, these are not the greatest things I've ever seen. We got a Peanuts movie. It's it's the Easter Beagle, Charlie Brown. We just got a lot of random ones, honestly. Let's look. I'm gonna do some horror movies now.
Because you know there's going to be some creepy Easter bunny. I mean, just Google creepy Easter bunny photos, people. It's endless.
Bro,
Endless.
boom,
Boom.
right there.
Endless creepy. That girl looks pretty happy, honestly,
She
about
does look
it.
oddly happy to be in the arms of
Of that.
that creature.
Most kids are screaming in the photos that I found, but I do like that one. He looks like he's about to bite her head off.
He really does. He is not. Okay, so what a lot of these movies that I'm looking, some of them are movies, but some of them are not like full movies. They're like short films, but these are the top ones that come up. This is called Beast Day, Here Comes Peter Caught in Hell. Get it? We got Bunny Man. We got Bunny Man 2.
It was good enough to have a 2.
Yeah, I guess it was good enough for a second one, guys.
Okay.
Easter Bunny Kill Kill. These are very creative, guys.
Wow.
Peter Rottentail. Yeah, so none of these look worth watching, guys.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if we'll be doing a watch
We won't be checking those ones out.
No, maybe not.
No
I mean,
watch
but
party
honestly,
with those ones.
if we should, let us know. Maybe we're really
Yeah,
missing
if
out.
you have a movie that you're vibing with, yeah, but those were not hitting, guys. Those were
No,
not good.
not so much. But
Um,
luckily, we have a whole month of holidays that maybe we can find a movie, a better movie
boom.
option for
So let's
those.
take a look at these
Let's look
folks.
at April. What do we got besides my birthday, which I didn't even
Okay.
put on there?
Yes. 27, Katie's
Yeah.
birthday.
Woo-hoo.
We got April.
Oh, maybe I
We
did put it on
got,
there.
of course. I think you put it,
I
right
did.
down there.
All
27.
right. I took that day. Honestly, I think it was because there wasn't really anything else good. So I was like, well, all right.
Nothing better than my birthday, that's for sure.
Better.
That's what you were saying. Okay, so of course, April Fool's Day, National Ferret Day, National Burrito Day. But this sucks. I think I mentioned this in the last one, but these just kind of seem like some of the last months were so fun. Like just like random ones, like
Mhm.
dip night, dip and chips night,
Ugh,
just
I
like
know.
being like
Let's
let's
still
say
do.
me, let's say I'm a bachelor and like I just invite people over and we just do like dips and chip night. Like that sounds so fun.
Yeah.
And the same with these, like you could do national like burrito day,
Mhm.
national carrot day, do some carrot juicing or something.
Carrot cake.
Okay, national dandelion day. Okay, plan your epitaph
Oh,
day.
yes.
Do we want to
Oh,
knock
man.
that out real
Let's do
quick,
it,
or do we
guys.
want to wait? Okay,
Man.
so Katie, you can say what you want to do.
All right. So
So
this
what?
is
Okay, so
kind of
what is an epitaph?
okay. So an epitaph is what is written on your gravestone. So some people
Yes.
just say their name, the date. If you walk around the cemeteries in New England, or probably even by your house too in
If you
Tennessee,
if you walk around the cemeteries as you do,
as you should,
if you just wander
um,
and read the
and read
gravestones,
the gravestones, there are some fascinating things that people choose to say. Like, seems like a lot of the 1700s graves, they'll talk about like the things they'll say. They'll be like, death can come for you too. Like, just you're like, oh shoot, okay.
that's
Like they're
so
not
funny,
cheery. They're
bro.
not like
Yeah,
happy types of things. Some of them
loving
say
mother.
how the person died. I was going to say drowned, but some will say that they drowned.
Why and how the person drowned. Katie, why do you
um,
know somebody's drowning?
it
You're
was,
just killing people.
everyone drowns. So yeah, there's just you can really get some good inspo. And
Yeah.
I personally find that as a small-ish female, a safe place to walk around where you're really not ever going to run into anyone else. Like you could go to a park and there might be some crazy people there. You go to a graveyard, you're going to be the
Facts.
only person in the graveyard.
You are the crazy people there, bro.
I'm the crazy
If you're
person.
going to
So,
yeah.
what do? You get a book, you bring a little snack, and you go find a comfy tree in a graveyard and you just chill out because it's peaceful, it's quiet, it's just you and the bones.
Dead people, bro.
Not a lot of
All the
crazy
ghosts.
people, just the ghosts, which I'll
Yeah.
take ghosts over like drugged out homeless person that might attack me, you know?
Like,
So, anyways,
yeah.
epitaphs, people, help me decide.
Epitaphs, baby.
Do I have a grave that is hollow and it says something like, I could play off a Pretty Little Liars and say, like, two can keep a secret if one of them is dead. And then there's a little slot and you can write down your secret, okay? Or something you got to get off your chest,
Oh
okay?
my
And you
god.
write it down. Maybe there's like a spot for pencils or something. Someone would have to
Bro.
upkeep this. So if I
I'll
die,
upkeep it,
will you
guys.
please upkeep this?
I got you.
And you can, or just bring your own paper and you slip it in and it like falls in and it's like a way for you to get your thing off your chest or tell a secret, and you put
That's
it into
kind of
my grave.
fun.
Option 1.
Wow.
Okay.
That's kind
Option
of
number
fun.
2 is Corey and I have, sometimes you'll see these graves here that it's like one grave that kind of has like 2 humps for 2 people, but it's like connected. And because then Corey and I can be buried next to each other, and we would share a little grave, which
Okay.
would kind of help because we want to do our vow renewal. This is okay. I'll say we think it would be cool to do our vow renewal, our 10-year vow renewals, find a really beautiful cemetery in New England, pick our plot that we'll be buried in someday, and do our vow renewal there. Okay.
Like standing in the graves or
Standing
something like that.
in, yes, like where we will be buried together someday.
Wow.
And then we would have like a joint grave stone. And I'm not sure exactly what it would say, except maybe like,
Can't keep them off me.
Yeah. Buried on. I won't even. Use your imagination, people. But yeah, we could go like super cheesy and just say like always, like Harry
Something,
Potter
yeah.
reference. Or we could say like married till we're buried, but no, that would be then we're not married anymore. I don't know. We could come up with something, people. Okay.
I mean,
So
I guess
yeah,
you go into heaven and there's
there's
nothing like that.
Do I go with my secret grave? Not secret grave, but my secret telling grave.
Oh.
Or do I go with the romantic grave?
The romantic grave. Folks, comment down below. What do you think?
Comment down below. What about you, Toby?
You can tell that Katie has thought about this before. I've never thought about this before, okay? So I'm just gonna spit some stuff and we'll see what happens. So I don't know if I want to be buried or if I want to be cremated.
Oh, that's a good point.
So
you could be cremated and then
that's the
buried.
thing. So I
you
think
mean
that
cremated and sprinkled?
Yeah, sprinkled somewhere.
Okay.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. So like if I am like that's the thing though, is when I die, like I'm dead. So I don't really care exactly what happens. But
I have specifics, okay, Toby. So you better follow them. I know
I
what
got you.
song
Put it
is
in
gonna
your
play.
will. I got you.
Okay.
A song? You have a song ready? Oh my
I got a song picked out.
Man, she is prepared.
I'm ready.
She's ready to die, I guess. I don't know if that's good. No, but so I think I might want to be cremated, but then probably put in the ocean or something like that.
Okay.
So that's kind of my vibe. But
I like that.
kind of an idea that just kind of came to me is being cremated and being put in the ocean, but then having a grave and putting like treasure or something in there or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So then put like a code with whatever I have written like on the grave. So it's like
a riddle.
Yeah, a riddle or something. And if you like can figure it out, like, and I'll have it in my will that if you like figure out this riddle and you figure out the treasure hunt or something, you can get what is in my grave or something like that.
I can't believe you just came up with this.
Yeah, guys, that's right.
Wow. Okay. I love that. A riddle on the grave.
Yeah.
And then the riddle. Yeah.
The riddle somehow connects either I plan it.
Sends them to like.
Exactly. Like it'll send them exactly.
That then they could unbury the treasure for and unlock. They could unbury the treasure, but they're not going to be able to get into it.
Yeah, exactly.
If they don't have the key.
Exactly.
Or whatever. Okay,
so something like that. Or if I don't get cremated, being put in a tree, like a hollow tree or something, and like decomposing like that.
Into the tree.
Or maybe being cremated, because your bones don't burn, do they?
I don't.
Because
I'm always confused about that, actually.
But like maybe like putting my bones in like a hollowed out tree or something would be kind of
cool too.
Just random
stuff
like that, folks.
You could be cremated
and put in a tree.
That'd
be a fun one though. Like maybe instead of like being cremated and then planting a seed in the grave with your ashes, and then a tree would grow.
Yeah.
And then it'd be like the Toby tree, and you could go like carve things on it or something like that.
I love that. I think that's really cool. And you can never have too many trees, you know?
Yeah, I love trees. I'm trying to think of like a cool, like I don't know what epitaph would be though. Is that how you
Mm,
say it? Epitaph?
yeah. Yep.
I guess maybe
Right.
like
Here
uh
lies the
here lies,
body.
here lies the boy. No.
Yeah. Deep.
Might not put that in yet.
But think about that though. You're walking through the graveyard and that's on the grave. That would be so funny.
Hilarious.
Like, why put something boring? Why be
Here
basic,
lies. Yeah.
guys,
Don't
when
be
you could have
basic.
an epic epitaph? Oh my gosh, wait.
Epic
Can we start
epitaph.
a business
We could
called
start a
Epic
business. Oh
Epitaph?
my gosh, we could like be like the people, like we could put fireworks or something and stuff, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like we could
Wow.
like
Hire us.
you can have a lame grave
Yeah.
or your grave can be a party. That's all I'm saying,
Yeah.
okay?
You
Boom.
choose.
Or
You choose.
I could put a landmine in my grave. So then if you step on it, now
You
you're
also
dead too.
die.
Guys, I don't know what we're tripping on, but it's fun. Okay. What
We have
else?
so many more days.
We really, oh my gosh, yeah, that's so true. Wait, I gotta go back to this. Okay, where were we at? Okay,
You'll
oh
like the
my
next one.
gosh, we're at the 6th, guys. Okay, here we go. Okay, I need to full screen this a little bit. Okay, National Beer Day,
There you go.
guys. Right after Epitaph Day, if you don't
Yeah.
die, you can get drunk. There
Have
we
a
go.
beer.
Unicorn Day Eve.
Yes.
Wow.
Which
Name Yourself Day. Okay, wait. Unicorn. Okay, so is the
Unicorn Day
next?
Eve. So it's like Christmas Eve, but it's Unicorn Day Eve. So I guess Unicorn Day would be the 9th, but there was literally nothing else good for the 8th. So I was like, well, if Unicorn Day is the 9th, then that means the 8th is Unicorn Day Eve.
Yeah, you can rename yourself and still celebrate unicorns
You
on the
know what?
same
That's
day. Come
true.
on,
That's
I can
true.
multitask.
What would you rename yourself, Toby?
Yeah. Okay. What would you rename yourself, Katie? What would we do? Okay.
Well, one of the names that they considered naming me was Stella.
Okay.
And I just feel like I could have been a Stella.
You could have been a
Caitlin's
Stella.
fine. Katie's great. But I think Stella that could have been
It would have
me.
been. I feel like Stella kind of matches the like it's kind of a name that you would hear like with somebody who like
As a folklore podcast?
exactly like Stella Raven something. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
cool name
Well, I
like
feel
that.
like they could have kept my same middle name. It could have been Stella Ray. Like,
Oh yeah,
hello,
Stella Ray.
Stella Ray.
Stella Ray.
So
Stella Ray, the podcast. Yeah, it's a good. Do you have like a? Do you? Okay. So, the movie Point Break with Patrick Swayze and
yeah.
Keanu Reeves. Patrick Swayze's character's name is Bodhi. I feel like that's a sick name.
You could have been a Bodhi. I
Bodhi,
could
baby.
see that.
Yeah. My parents were gonna name. Well, they weren't gonna, but one of the ideas was Peter.
I remember that. They thought about it for Jed, and then
They
they were
did.
like, "No,
Oh, let's just throw down
maybe
this
Toby.
kid.
Maybe the next one can be Peter." And then they were still like, "No."
No. That's so funny. I've been thinking about that, like names for my kids,
Mhm.
and Bodhi is one that I'm
Is
like,
on the list. It's a
that's
good one.
definitely on the list. It's such
It's
a cool name.
unique,
I guess it has something, yeah, it has
but
something
not
to,
weird.
yeah, exactly. Because like you could go with like, I don't know, like Steez or something, but like
Yes.
Steez, what are you
Yes.
talking about? Um, yeah, I guess Bodhi is something to do with Buddhist what is it? It was like the like an uncontrolled something like something, or it was like the peacefulness of uncontrolled, I don't even know, something like that. It was
Mm,
something artsy and cool
something
like that.
cool.
But
All right. I
do you
like it.
have any other names that you would maybe want to do, or no?
I don't think so.
I think, yeah, I have a hard time seeing myself as anything other than Tobias, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like it's tough because it's just always been.
Your name. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
agree.
some people are like, "Oh, I hate my name," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"I don't have time to waste
Like,
on thinking about my
yeah.
name,
It's
guys."
my name. I don't know. It's my name.
It's
Unless you
my
want to
name.
go through the trouble of changing it.
Yeah, National Siblings Day. Boo. Just kidding. Just
Boo
kidding.
to siblings.
What would you do on that day? I guess you would just like
Just
hang with your siblings.
hug them.
Go and hug your sibling, guys, and that's it. National Pet Day. Okay.
Which is today. Today. Happy
Oh,
National
shoot.
Pet Day. I have no pets, but
I have a
you have a
dog.
dog. So
I have a dog.
have
We might get chickens soon because we're
oh,
conspiracy theorists and we
yeah.
Have you seen that thing that's like all conspiracy theories start with getting chickens?
Oh
Because it's
my
like
gosh.
if you get chickens, it means that you don't trust the food industry. And if
That
you
is
don't trust
and
the
then
food industry, you don't trust like all of this other stuff. It's so
wow.
funny.
Well, I mean, it all really comes back to what came first, the chicken or the egg, which is probably the oldest conspiracy theory.
That's so true.
So,
What came first, guys? The chicken or the
or the
egg?
egg.
Comment down below. Okay, 12. We got the 12th. We got Passover. We kind of talked about
Passover.
that. What does this one say? Oh, Palm Sunday. I couldn't
On
read it.
Sunday.
National Pecan Day. Do you say pecan or pecan?
Oh, it depends.
It
If
really
I'm
depends.
saying pecan as the nut, I say pecan. But if I'm saying pecan pie, I would
That's
say
what,
pecan
that's what I was thinking.
pie.
I say pecan pie, but I say pecan.
What?
That's
Okay, maybe this is a family thing. I'm gonna ask grandma and you ask your mom, and
okay.
we'll see if it's all grandma's fault. Because
Oh,
I
no,
think we
that's
can,
true.
probably blame her. No, just
I
kidding.
could
Just
blame her for
kidding,
so
mom.
much.
Yeah, we're gonna
Thanks,
get to the
Mom. I love
bottom of
you.
that. But other people, is
Yeah,
that normal?
is that normal? Because it is such a. I guess maybe yeah. Comment down below, guys.
Yeah.
World Art Day. Okay.
Make some art.
National Pajama Day.
Oh, nice.
That's fun. Um. Oh, this was that one that you said.
Yes, Maudi
Maori
Thursday, which sounds a
Thursday. There
lot
we
like
go.
Monday Thursday.
Yeah.
Um, I personally have only really acknowledged that holiday when we were attending a Presbyterian church. It's kind of their, I don't want to say their version, but like their version of a Good Friday service celebrated on Thursday, which would allow for the 3 days of Jesus being in the grave before he rose. It was a really um, uh, somber service, candles and dark, and
Combo service.
it was a samba service. But yeah, so that's that. Maudi Thursday.
Maori Thursday. Um. Good Friday.
Good Friday.
Holy Saturday. Easter.
Easter.
Patriots Day. Earth Day. National Picnic Day. See, that'd be so much fun.
Yeah, I want to go on a picnic.
Pig in a Blanket Day. I've never had a pig in a blanket.
What? Really?
Like the
Like
food.
the croissant? Isn't it like a hot
Yeah, it's
dog
like
and a croissant?
it's like a hot dog and like a croissant. It's like a wannabe corn dog.
True.
Um, uh, Arbor Day.
Oh,
Oh,
Arbor
Arbor
Day.
Day. Arbor Day.
Plant a tree or something like that?
Sick. Pretzel Day. We got Katie's birthday, the 27th, baby. Let's go.
Hey, but also Pretzel Day, we realized is another holiday.
Oh yes.
Much cooler than Pretzel Day.
Much cooler than Pretzel Day. What was it?
National
Oh yes,
Alien
National
Day.
Alien Day. I was like, it was something
You're like,
cool, and I don't
we
remember.
talked about a lot of stuff before
We
starting to
did.
record.
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
National
National
Alien
Alien Day,
Day
guys.
is the 26th. So we may be doing a little
Keep your eyes peeled for maybe a bonus episode.
surprise bonus episode.
Yeah, a little alien stuff. Pretzel Day, Katie's birthday, Blueberry Pie Day, which she another fun one.
Mm.
International Dance Day. Hey, let's go. Bugs Bunny Day.
Bugs Bunny Day.
And
And
then
then it's gonna be May.
it's gonna be May. All that I do. Sick. So guys, that's those are the holidays
Lots to celebrate
that
this
maybe you
month.
weren't aware of.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you want like something else to do, like Easter's like pretty good and it already happened, and then you're like, okay,
And
time to
you're
do
like,
something else.
man, what do I do
Boom.
now?
Pretzel Day, picnic
Pretzel
day.
Day or aliens or yeah, so many things to celebrate and be grateful for.
Yes,
Like it's getting so dark in here.
it
The
is.
sun is setting here in the northern hemisphere.
Northern Hemisphere. Man. Yeah. Do we have anything else? I don't think we have anything else, guys.
I don't think so. But thanks for listening.
Yes, thank you so much for listening.
And
Thank you for watching. If you watched it on
watching.
YouTube,
Yes.
we're gonna try and figure out like getting it on other streaming things, but
Yes.
right now YouTube is working, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Make sure to go to the Instagram and follow that. Like this and share it. It helps with algorithm and stuff like that. Comment everything that we told you to comment, and yeah, happy Easter, guys.
Happy Easter.
Adios.
Adios. Bye.